everybody, welcome back. My name is Sparks and this is Gamemode 4, the series where we modify vanilla Minecraft with command blocks. Now I'm going to be honest and say that right now this is my favourite Gamemode 4 plugin yet. The features it adds should seriously be in the main game anyway, and it's a bit of a double whammy plugin because it combines suggestions from CrazyMan47 and Giraffe52. The Better Fire plugin does exactly what it says on the tin. So this plugin adds two new fire-based elements to the game. First of all, it means that if you fire a fire arrow, it will actually spawn flames where you land, and this creeper is about to demonstrate the second element of this plugin, which is that creepers that are on fire now explode. So we can shoot it with a fire arrow and you'll see that he goes up in smoke. You get the XP and the drops and everything just like normal. Since the fire arrows spawn fire where they land, you can actually set fire to buildings, things like that, and it'll just summon fire at the location of the arrow. There's a couple of safety stops to this, which I'll get to in a second, but let me just show you some applications. Fire arrows can now be used as a form of transportable, throwable lighting, which means that you can actually light a path using your fire arrows. They will also not go out for up to 2 minutes, since the arrow sits inside them, continually refreshing the flame until you pick it up. So this is a great way of lighting up caves, for example, and making sure that there's plenty of light around long enough for you to go in there and put down some more steady torch lighting. Now you should be careful about using this plugin around forests, since the fire from the fire arrows has a tendency to spread. Oh dear. Like I said, plenty of uses. So while command blocks make it very easy to tell if something isn't on fire, it's actually very tricky to work out whether something is, or like the logic behind it gave me some thought. But it's turned into a fairly simple system, and this actually splits off quite nicely. So this side here does the fire arrows, and this one here does the exploding creepers, and we just have a clock powering it all. So I'll show you how all this works. We've got this column here, which is all powered at the same time, but very specific order. So this one, then the bottom one, then the top one. So what it does is, first of all, it removes the scoreboard objective fireTracker, and then it adds the scoreboard objective fireTracker. And then it will add all creepers to the fireTracker scoreboard with a value of 1. And the reason it does this, the reason it deletes and then re-adds the fireTracker scoreboard every tick, is because if you are adding every creeper in the world to the scoreboard all the time, eventually, because when a creeper despawns, its name isn't removed from that scoreboard list, you'd get thousands and thousands of creeper values in there, which would probably cause a lot of lag. So we just delete and recreate it every time to keep those numbers down. We'll go down the creeper route first. So over here, this is my solution for working out whether something is on fire. So mobs have this attribute called fire, and the value after it is the number of ticks before it's not on fire. So if you set fire to a creeper, it could have a value here of, say, 20, which means 20 ticks until it goes out. If a creeper or another entity is not on fire, it has a value of -1 as a default. Or arrows have one of 0, actually, but mobs have -1. So what we're doing here is we're saying that all creepers with a value of fireTracker 1, which means they've been detected by our scoreboard value, should have a fireTracker value of 2 if they're not on fire, if the number of ticks before they're not on fire is -1. So now what we've actually done is we've gotten rid of all the creepers who aren't on fire and added them to a value of 2, which means anything left, anything with a value of 1, is on fire. So we set their value, anything with a fireTracker value of 1, which is anything on fire, to a fireTracker value of 3, and that tells us that those creepers are on fire. And finally, we execute on the behalf of all creepers with a fireTracker value of 3 to summon a creeper at their location that is on fire, is ignited, and has a fuse of 0. So all these commands will be in the description as usual, and you can see it happening here. Catches fire right away. We can place him in fire, same thing. Drops in lava, same thing. So that's basically it for the exploding creepers, and the fire arrows is very similar. They have a very similar system. So we first of all add all arrows to the fireTracker scoreboard with a value of 1. After that, we set any arrow to have a fireTracker score of 2 if they're not on fire. And like I said earlier, arrows have a value of 0 if they're not on fire, which leaves a value of 1 for any arrow that is on fire. And what we do then is we execute on behalf of all arrows with a fireTracker score of 1 to fill the space they're in with fire if they're in air. And the reason this happens is I could do a set block, and for example, if I shoot this bush, it will not set fire to the ground, and that's because it's only replacing air with fire. And the main reason for this is that while it's not too bad if a bush is destroyed and replaced with fire, this will also happen for signs and item frames. So over here, for example, if I shot this and it was just doing set block, that sign would vanish, which I don't think is a very good idea, and it would do things like ladders as well. Any non-solid block, fences, things like that could be destroyed. So it'll only actually set things alight if it's in air, like that. Well, thank you very much as always for watching. Let's get straight to the comments. Percola1 says that I should make it so that dropped sapling items have a chance of rooting into the ground, and I really kind of want to do this, but I want to mix it with something else. There was a mod a while ago, I can't remember what it was called, something along the lines of dynamic forests, and trees would have a chance of dying and saplings would have a chance of being planted. And so you had forests, the trees would eventually die and they'd drop saplings, and those saplings would grow up to be new trees, and so the forests would constantly be changing. I really like that idea, but working out what defines a tree could be tricky, so I don't know how well I'll do on that. Remember, if you've got a plugin suggestion, feel free to comment below, or if you actually have a little redstone contraption you think would make a good Gamemode 4 plugin, feel free to contact me. Thanks, I'll see you next time.